like a fire. You better start moving. Just like a fire. Burn it, burn it. You better start moving. Just like a fire. Burn it, burn it. You better start moving. Start moving. Just like a just like a fire. You better start moving. Just like a fire. Burn it, burn it. You better start moving. Just like a fire. Burn it, burn it. Yeah. You better start moving. Just like a fire. Burn it, burn it. Yeah. You better start moving. Just like a fire. Just like a just like a fire. Just like a just like a fire. You better start moving. 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 You better start moving. You better start moving. You better start moving. Just like a fire. You better start moving. Just like a fire. Burn it, burn it. You better start moving. Just like a fire. Burn it, burn it. Yeah. You better start moving. Just like a fire. Burn it, burn it. Yeah.
And you know what's interesting is the 50-minute told us to short the market in the head and shoulder that I projected this morning on the updated 7:45 of the morning. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it with the crypto lifers. You could be in a short right now. I didn't take the short. Didn't feel like it should have shorted, but hey, it is okay. I shouldn't have said woulda, shoulda. It's over now. But I'll show you what I saw in the market. And it's hard when you're an analyst because every day I can wake up and I can see what's going to happen. But some days I should just say no. I had a great day yesterday, great week. Everything's going well. No reason to ruin it going too crazy. But it does look like we're going lower. Let's take a look at BTC. Break down what's happening. Shout out to all you beautiful people here on the live. Thank you for jumping on it. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Let's go, baby. Bitcoin. Still at 109,000. Still doing pretty good. Let's look at the big picture here for BTC. So 109,000 looks likely for Bitcoin. And let me show you, if you were in my trading group, just how you would have been kind of ahead of the game here. Just to see, number one, I did an update. In the update, I found what looked like could be a right shoulder on the 15-minute. I said, be careful. We also were waiting for the data. The data came in a little bearish. More people claimed unemployment than forecast. That's not the best sign for the market. And then revised non-farm productivity quarter over quarter. I mean, it is better, right? So that's a good sign. And then a little lower for the unit labor cost quarter over quarter. So those are kind of bullish. This is kind of in the middle, right? And Bitcoin kind of did its thing. It seemed to shrug it off. We're going to look at the NASDAQ too and see how the NASDAQ reacted to that same behavior. Just to kind of, I always like to see the correlation from the news. It gives me some insight each time I look at it as to what could happen the next time we see something of that nature. All right. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in, and appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Red day, red tie, red pocket square, red coat, straight up, right? So it looks like we're going lower down to this liquidity zone here at $109,000 for Bitcoin. We also talked about the daily making a possible right shoulder on a bigger inverted head and shoulder, which would make somewhat sense here. We're going to break all that down for you, show you the bullish, the bearish, and show you where we're likely going into Friday and this weekend into the weekly candle close. Shout out to all my awesome, beautiful people that support the channel. Thank you for being here. Shout out to everybody that kicks it with the lifer. May God bless each and every one of you, and I thank you so much for being a part of the Crypto Lifer journey. On our way to 200,000 subscribers. Let's go, baby. 250,000, 250,000 is the next big milestone, right? We work till that, so that's the next goal. 250,000, 100,000 was accomplished. Now we go for 250,000. Let's see how long it'll take. Let's keep moving every single day. I'm so excited with the journey. So Bitcoin continuing to dump as suggested out this head and shoulder pattern right here. Look, and I did put this chart out. I also said, hey, maybe there's going to be a double bottom on the 15. It attempted a double bottom. Right there. But it was like, maybe. Second later, that candle never really got to fruition. So it never... Double bottom, you want to buy right here when it cracks, right? And you want to trade up the measured move. You don't want to just be front running the bottom. It's never a good look, all right? Anyway, just one thing to think about. So shoulder, head right shoulder, that was set in motion to enter the trade here, put a stop loss above the right shoulder, and boom, we basically speculated this right shoulder somewhere in around 7:40, 7:30 in the morning. As it was kind of slightly moving up, I said, man, it could make a right shoulder and dump on us to the downside. I talked about it in my update. So the lifers, you would have had a video update explaining this happening before it happened. You would have been able to project it, and then you also got an exact way to trade it in case you were into getting into that short money right here. Short on deck, the shoulder was made. I mean, it is what it is. You just do what the charts tell you to do. It's very hard to extrapolate your emotions and just do this like, oh, I see the right shoulder, I'm going to short it. You know what I mean? It's very difficult. That's the most difficult thing in trading, is to finally just do what the charts are telling you to do. But you get better at it over time. Some days the old you comes back a little stronger. Some days you're just really good at nailing the patterns. For me, I'm like 90-10. There's some days like today. Why didn't I just short? I saw it. How come I didn't short? And I said to my trading group, I'm not shorting this. I'm not into shorting right now. Why? I could have made great money. There was there was a good daily gain right there, right? I saw the probabilities. I gave it to the trading group. Why didn't I take it? I can't explain it. Some days you trade it, some days you don't. Especially if you've been trading as long as me. Put yourself through thousands of days of trading. There's going to be some days where you just do something different. You won't even know why. You're like, wow, why didn't I do that? But for the most part, should trade that right shoulder to the downside every single time. Okay? So let's break down our bigger time frames. Let's show you what I see. We're going to come back. Maybe we could bounce. Maybe there's a chance. You know what I mean? You never know. Bitcoin's been whack-taculous recently. Is that a cup and handle that could break us? We got higher lows from these areas that could continue to the upside for Bitcoin. Still holding that daily low that we called. Is that going to hold? A lot of questions to be answered right now here on the technical analysis side. And my name is Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate you all for watching this amazing show and supporting us every day. Shout out to my whole team and everybody out there. Shout out to Lakochi, Sean, and everybody kicking it with the Lifer. Let me jump on into the chat and see what's happening to the chat. I'm so into the charts right now, though. No time for the chat over here. Let me make sure I copy paste us over into And so we are live. So I basically did a pretty good job of doing the update this morning and seeing the short like we do every day without a day off, constantly. Pretty awesome. Let's take a look here what's happening to that monthly. So the monthly, chance it could make its way out of here, but it's, nothing's guaranteed. A little sketchy, really. The weekly digging in for the, at least just the tweezer bottom. And that's all we can hope for, is that we get some type of tweezer bottom close here. And we kind of respect this range. We're technically below the support, though. I mean, the support is where the candles close. I'm really strict about that. Technically below the support. So your next region of, basically inquiry there, where it looks most likely, is 105,008. Right above this high volume node, right in and into this, basically it's a whole area. But it's right about here, you can see, bing, So anyway, you're seeing, and then if not, you fall right down to here. And you're talking 96,000. When they start getting us closer to 104, 103, it's going to get more and more likely they're going to break 100,000. Because why not? Why not play with the fear there at that point? If you're going to get it that close, why not take people to the edge? So BOOKMAP saying, BOOKMAP is a beautiful platform that displays market liquidity. You see candlesticks. I see what the candlesticks are hiding. It kind of says, hey, now there's still liquidity above us all the way to 118,000. There's still liquidity on either side. And there's actually a little more above us on the bigger picture. But there's still a lot down here all the way to 105. Look at this. And so a move down to 105,000 wouldn't be insane. And you can say this wants 109, and it wants it pretty bad. It attempted the first run right now. We'll see. Enough to kind of bring back some longs to maybe crush it again. We'll take it one step at a time. So far, we are 3 days away from a weekly close that is actually somewhat bullish. However, we got it here, it did nothing. We got it there, it did nothing. We've had tweezer bottoms before. This, it did amazing. This tweezer bottom, right? And it can be an absolute beautiful catalyst. That one was okay. That one was eh. So it's not everything, but it could be. You see, what I'm concerned about on, for the bulls is this could end up being a head and shoulder pattern, right? And that's not going to be a good look. And there's always a possibility that we come and revisit this big old bag of liquidity down here at $64,000, $67,000, right? So I just got to always be open-minded here and not act like anything is possible. We live in a universe where anything is possible. Once I realized that, I was like, oh my gosh, it's possible for me to become a YouTuber and change my life. Wow, that's amazing, right? So once it happened to me, this is interesting. Once my YouTube channel blew up, it changed the way I traded. You'd say, why? Because I realized that anything really was possible. See, I used to say anything was possible, but I didn't really believe it. I'd be like, no, Bitcoin's going to go the way I think it's going to go. I'd basically be like, you know what? No matter what they say, Bitcoin's going up. It's doubling up like everybody told me this year. It has to go up. And I would love this. I would love this scenario, rising wedge. We bounce right now. We make a shoulder, head, right shoulder. So, and let me just paint the picture for a bullish scenario for you. Somehow, some way, we get out of this week unscathed. Green, right? The next week, we have to flip green, and then we get like 3 green candles in a row, and we come back up to resistance. We don't break it. People sell off again. We get the right shoulder. We end up making this like ascending triangle. We get tight, 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 tight. They probably dump it or pump it, dump it, whatever. There's going to be craziness there, and then we launch on out after they liquidate all the souls left, right, that are like able to actually hang on. Now, if you buy right now and hold with a stop below here, there's a chance you just continue to win. So if you front run the weekly close, right, there's a chance that ends up becoming a pretty big trade. But, again, that's high risk, high reward there, so that's up to you. That's, again, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't think I say it should be financial advice. But the idea would be kind of like we front run the daily on Saturday morning. I had to do it twice. We ended up making some gains when we got the pump yesterday to the upside. We sold the local high yesterday in the 112,300 to 400 region, and then boom, it went a little higher, and that was it. Amazing how I got out of those trades, right? And that's why. Good thing I didn't hold them I always say, this is going to be my daily trade. I'm going all the way for it. How many times are you going to watch the trade go up and down? And I told you guys, the first time I got into the trade, I was up 1,000. I got stopped at a break even the next morning or in the night or something. Got back into the trade, took it for the 1,000. Got back into the trade the third time, took it for 1,000 again because I was like, man, you know what? This first time I lost it. The second time I'm going to take it again. You know what I mean? And so every time I think I'm going to go for the long trade, I just tell myself, don't do it. Take the profits. That's a guaranteed G right there. And now you can call it a good day. You know what I'm saying? And if you have good days back to back to back and it adds up, then over time you're going to be in a pretty good position. So, I don't know. It happened. Let's go, Sammy. 100%. So, here we go. So, the weekly. This is a very high-risk trade, but you know what? There's a chance that someone could long right now and become one of the, the biggest gainers ever in history. Seriously. Also could just make a right shoulder. So, the thing is, even if we get a pump, then we're going to be talking about this, and then we're going to get tight in here. We're going to have to get tight in here to defy that right shoulder. If we make that right shoulder, oh my gosh, it's going to be, and maybe it's a double bottom and they defy it. I mean, it could get crazy. So a lot could happen here. They have the whole world watching and they can liquidate everybody and anybody at all the time. I mean, they have so much liquidity at their hands. And you can see it's been getting, I don't know if there's more people, more action so they can do, I don't know, but it's been getting pretty nuts. So the weekly, can it hold support? Can it close here? And technically, it's above support right now. It's above these two candles, so we need that. We got to close above 109,000. We're kind of teetering on that level today. It looks like we're going to find out if we can hold that level or not. We're going to be testing. 5-day, just broke 5-day support right there with these two candles open and closed. Your next level is going to be 108.9. The 5-day looking somewhat bearish here, like it just wants to continue to dump. And on the 5-day, it definitely broke that level, that, the downward, just like this. I mean, you fell out of the pattern. 3-day had the tweezer bottom, looked beautiful. We're testing that. We're testing this candle. I'd like this to flip green. Falling wedge was breaking out. In my humble opinion, it had broken out. It was a green candle up there when this is a green, this morning, last night, right? This was a green candle outside. Looked nice. Looked like maybe the next 2 or 3 days we were going to get the close to the upside. And then here we are watching the daily. See how we keep zooming in to find out more information each time. So when I zoom in here, what could be happening is it could be a daily retest of this trend line. So I love these trades. And I love this type of position. And I'll tell you why. I've seen this many, many times in my life. Bitcoin likes to do this exact thing. All right. So we have this resistance here, right? 112,679. Morning, Sammy and the Lifers. Andrew Yurkovic. On days like today, let's remember, for God has not given us spirit of timidity, but power and love and discipline. Timothy 1:7. Cheers all. Thank you for saying that. Again, back to the idea. All my kids are healthy today. My wife is healthy. I'm healthy. Life is well. My sisters are healthy. Life is going well. Like, if I got a call that anyone that I love right now was in peril or pain, I would not be able to I don't think I would care about not one of my trades. Okay? So, may God continue to bless my family and me. And I've been through a lot of tragedy in the last couple of years with my parents passing away unexpectedly, 7 months apart. And, it just, thank you for, keeping the last few years safe and sound, because ever since I got the call that my dad got airlifted and ever since my mom died while she was speaking to me on Thanksgiving Day, I was unable to really trust. Like, I don't take any day for granted ever again. Like, I remind myself that every moment is a moment of blessing. Every moment is a time that we can rejoice because we're alive. You're here to watch a channel. You're here to lose and to win. Something could happen to you. You're involved. You're around. Look at this. They just opened up 108.5, just popped in strong. So it was 109. They just switched the liquidity down to 108.5. So it's like whoever was long decided, okay, they basically added more margin and they lowered their liquidation level. You see, that's what just happened. Someone added more margin, lowered their liquidation. Usually that means they're going to come get. Every time I've seen red, like 90% of the time, they've gone and got this bar. So if you're in that short, sitting there on that right shoulder, there's a chance you continue to win this. So here's the deal. Back to what I was talking about on the daily. So here's the thing. Whenever I've seen this, and I've seen this many times, you get your falling wedge, you break out. And I've seen Bitcoin do this specifically, right? So you get your falling wedge, price breaks out. It comes right back to test this level. If it comes inside here and closes, it drops to the bottom of the candle. It drops down here. And then it might even drop out of that. Like, you know what I mean? It might do one of those and really collapse. Still kind of has this Adam and Eve kind of going for it, which does have the measured move down somewhere to about 102,000, right? That's the monthly support too, 102K. We could hit 102K, not lose it, and be completely fine because that's monthly support. I'll show you real fast, but see right there where these two candles hit, 102,491, 102. I'll see where it opened. The open 102,427. All right, so right there where these two candles, that's monthly support, and you got support there at 97,000. All right, just kind of wanted to segue that in real fast. Anyway, so if the daily loses this top trending candle, and I've seen this like over 100 times in my life, maybe even more, probably maybe 400 or 500 on many different assets in my life. And some days you get lucky, it bounces. It bounces off the trend line, like it wicks in a little bit. They scare you to make you think they're going to close it, and it bounces. We just can't get a daily close inside. If the daily candle closes inside of here, it's likely you're going to get another daily candle throughout the night, or we're going to start dumping into like right as the night as at 8 p.m. Right when the second daily candle closes, it's very likely it's going to dump right down to here. I've seen this many times in my life, so I can say it with extreme confidence. So if a daily candle closes below this trend line, somewhere in this circle, very likely on the 8 p.m. close, you're going to get a fall through dump. Right? Maybe you try to test these lows, but it looks like they may try to go after whoever think they called the low again. I, was positive I thought I called the low here. They snapped me on this liquidity. I got back in like right there because I knew this was a great entry. I had it already, and I was in the money on that wick, right? I got back in, and this time I took the money yesterday because I haven't trusted the market, and I'm really happy I turned into a day trader on Lev, and I'm really good about not sitting in these trades too long. Every single time I see there's liquidity, I see the grab away from the 21-day moving average, I snatch the price action. It doesn't make sense to sit inside the trade, right? And look, I would have lost all my gains and some, And then what I do is I scalp a little bit if I see something possible, and I leave it alone. And so that's what I've been doing. And I got all my accounts still good. Everything's kind of still sitting pretty. So I'm in a good spot. I'm patient. Sometimes you want to make more money. Let me teach you something too about trading. Seriously. All right. There's been, let's go over a 4-year, because you're looking at, if you start trading, this is really important. I'm writing 4 years for a reason. If you start trading, for me, my mind wasn't big enough to encapsulate like what I was actually doing. And what I mean by that is I got into trading. Say this was the door and I walked through the door. All right, I walked through the door of trading. I entered. I came back on the other side, and I was inside the world of trading. And I thought I knew what the world of trading was, but I didn't. I only had my 6 or 7 years of swing trading the stock market, and I didn't really have like constant TA. I wasn't locked in every single day. I didn't understand liquidity, BOOKMAP. I didn't know what liquidations, I didn't know anything that was going on behind the scenes. Divergences, where liquidations, all that awesome stuff that I can teach you later today. We should get into that because we used to show you that all the time, how the divergence was the liquidation. We used to stock that 1 minute divergence a lot. I changed it up because I found a higher probability, but that's okay. Anyway, so you enter trading. My point is this. So you expect your first year is tough maybe, or your first couple of years. Once you really become what you believe is a good trader, there's going to be a time where you actually know a little more, and you're actually disciplined and you're listening to a system. Once you know you're doing that, you're going to get into a pocket. And now my whole point is this. There may be an amazing bull run that takes up 4 to 5, 8 months of one of your years. And that you might make $1 million to $2 million, $500,000, $500,000. You might make so much money in that, right? Now, the next year might be a slower year for the market. It might be a slumpy bear market. You might be just learning how to short or shorting a little bit. And maybe you only make $50,000 to $100,000. You see what I'm saying? But you put away those big years. And then maybe the next year's horrible and you make a few mistakes. You buy so low, and you know what I mean? Some of your unrealized gains are maybe $100,000, $200,000. You might even be down 1 year, Then this year you maybe go sideways again and you only make, and then the next bull run comes and you make another couple mil. And so you know? And throughout maybe the next cycle, you're better at lev trading. And then even this down period, you're able to pump 120 to 150 grand out, maybe even 500 grand. Who knows what, how good you get. But what happens is people go through this period here and they get so stressed out. They're not making enough because they can't zoom out and see this. And they're working that job and they think they should have made enough, but I should have gotten out of it by now. I should have become the crypto lifer by now. I should have made it by now, right? I should have made enough to get out of my job by now. I should have been able to get through all this. You know what I'm saying? And it starts to get to that like, okay, what could happen here? You know what I mean? So from there, what happens is people ruin a beautiful opportunity. They don't realize the opportunity is a 4 to 8 year opportunity if they can stick with it and just begin to get the knowledge and not lose all their money. Somehow, some way, they're going to have more knowledge by year 8. And hopefully, if they've been saving their money and being disciplined, they're going to have more money too, either to invest or to do whatever they need. And now they have more knowledge. These 4 years are going to be the best years of their lives compared to the first 8. So get ready for an 8-year plan to be in trading. If in 8 years you're still here, you're going to have a beautiful 4-year setup waiting for you. Your discipline's going to be checked out. Hopefully, your money's going to be in a better spot. And you're going to understand the market in so much, and you're going to see so much more. Think about it. If you have been through 400 to 500 of my streams, a few years of my streams, even 3 years of my streams, I mean, your whole lot, you would see the market so differently. So don't get stressed if you've had a bad month. Don't get stressed if you had a bad year. Seriously, you have to start zooming out and looking at the big picture of trading. If you're going to become a pro trader for the rest of your life, and you're going to actually, say you have 20 years, you don't think in a 20 year of pro trading, you're not going to have maybe a bad year? No, every single year you're going to kill it. You're going to nail every year of your 20-year career. That's just unlikely, my friends. If you're amazing, you're going to have maybe 4 to 5 bad years. You see what I'm saying? Like, go look at any big trader, but you better hope, not hope, but you better be so disciplined that when the things are right, you take profits on those big years. You got to pay the trader. If you're going to make it 20 years, then you got to be able to take profits on a good amount of those years. You got to be able to play the cycles and play them right. It's very important. If you're not playing the cycles right, you're going to get banged. Look, this is why I use the Fear and Greed Index. This is why I'm buying Bitcoin whenever that Fear and Greed Index gets to that very shaded region. Remember when it was at 10 at 84? Remember 19? Remember 25? Remember 30? Remember 4? Remember all those lows we bought for BTC? Stacking for years to come. Getting ready for 8 years from now, 10 years from now. You see what I'm saying? Having a plan. 8, 9, 10 years from now, I'm going to be sitting in a place, in a ridiculous place in life. And people are going to be like, how? Just like I'm sitting now where I used to be from where I used to be. And I'm saying because I was disciplined enough to see through. You see what I'm saying? I was disciplined. And that discipline's going to carry you through. There's going to be days you don't feel good, days you don't feel amazing, days it's not perfect. You're going to get up and get it done anyway. It doesn't matter. Successful people realize that they don't wait for motivation to become successful. They get it done no matter what. See, someone who's just getting started says, I'm going to start when I feel right. I'm going to start on that day when today's not the right day. Things aren't perfect, but things are never perfect. They are never perfect. There is never the right day to start. I'm telling you right now. So you might as well just start today. It's like crazy, but like, if you want to learn how to trade, start learning how to trade today. If you've been losing all your trades, you have no idea what's happening, you're emotional, you're back and forth, please sign up for class. I teach it the second to last Saturday of this month. I think it's the 20th now. So it's the second to last Saturday of the month. Hit the QR code to find out more. I will be teaching class. This is $150. Invest in yourself. If you've been liquidated for more than $150, if you've lost more than $500 this month, then take a portion of what you would have lost and attempt to save it by giving yourself some knowledge. Become a different person. How did I become someone that's, think about it. I used to work a night shift and play with the computer, and look, we're getting a beautiful bullish div here, bounce for Bitcoin. And an ascending triangle that breaks out. They're 50-50 patterns. It can break out. Not amazing though. No matter what, we got to get back above the 200 moving average, you see? So anyway, back to the basics here, because I just want to kind of clean up how we're looking at this today. So we're looking for Bitcoin to retest this top trend line. And I've seen Bitcoin do this many a time. I've seen it actually ride the trend line. I've seen it hang on it for a couple days and then break out of it. It may do that. Like I call it like the slouch or like the leech. It just kind of leeches on it. But, we're looking for this to possibly bounce off this support. Look at that. I mean, that's a beautiful support right there. You see where these two candles close? 110,000 is very strong. If we lose 110, you can see the daily drops right down to that 108.8 area. It's back inside the pattern, and then it looks like we're going to come back somewhere down into here. You see? 105,000. That's the area that we're So if we lose 110, it's likely 108. If we lose 108, it's likely 105. So 110 kind of is 105. Like, we got to defend this key area. I saw that the 30-minute was moving, and we're going to zoom in there. I saw something keen on the 30-minute. I'm going to show you in a second here, too. We still got that big old liquidity, but it really was the liquidations move down. Are they going to be able to win? I mean, there's some big red up there at 118,000. Still a chance that daily long holds. It's a beautiful daily bottom. You have 4 candles in a row that held support at 108K. It tells me that that's going to be that low. There's your low. That's going to be your low. I believe we can dig up and at least get to this resistance, which we technically did, 112.5 on the wick. I'd like to see us bust all the way up to 117,000. That's going to be our next step. Bang. And you can see there's a beautiful gap of the VRVP here. So if we can stay above the point of control at 108.9, if we can hold 110 here, there still is some good hope that we can get this bounce. I'm looking for the right shoulder head. So I wanted this dump because I was looking for this right shoulder on the daily. This all made sense to me. So far, so good, right, for BTC. So I even said last night, be careful. And then we saw it on the 15-minute on the head and shoulder pattern. All right. Let's move on in now to the 12 and the 22. They got rejected by the 200 moving average. You can see, couldn't get above it. If they gotten above that thing, that is a long boom. And look, shoulder head could definitely be the inverted head and shoulder here. Someone says cat ears, right? Did I hear someone say cat ears? I think I heard it in my head. Someone whispered cat ears into the ether and I picked up on it. It's so crazy. Which one? Did anyone out there just whisper cat ears to themselves? Anybody out there? I feel like I heard it. It's just kind of weird. Freaked me out a bit. It's strange. I'm probably hearing voices. Cat ears. It's gonna get you. There you go. So anyway, resistance by the 200 moving average. See how I live and die by the 200? Amazing how we hit it like that. 8-hour time frame. Just kind of doing its thing here. 21-day moving average, not the worst, not the best, kind of in limbo. And the 4-hour. Again, too, the 4-hour loves to flag off the 21-day moving average. That's like my go-to right here. So that's a bull flag on the 22, on the 21. And it's getting oversold, the 22. You probably use the 22, it wouldn't matter. One day is not going to change much on the moving average. If you like the 20. Some people use the 20, I've seen, right? So let's break down what's happening today. You got to get back above. Now, someone who's a low risk bull that doesn't want to risk a lot would wait for us to get above 113, wait for us to get above the 200 moving average here. Then maybe take 114.5 up to 117, trade in this range. That would be a more conservative entry, but you'd miss this really aggressive pump. But again, high risk, high reward. So what we need right now is kind of this chop here, this bounce and this chop to hold. Like see this area there and like this whatever that we wicked kind of to it. We want to see this 4-hour hold and bounce off this key level. And look at the 1 hour right on the 200 moving average. So this is an area where I am very interested in. And again, I talked about it here too, right? And even when we went close there. And it made me say, man, I like the long here because we're, and again, this is why I longed yesterday. We had projected this flag the night before. We got the dip. We stayed back inside, and then we stayed in the trade. We never got stopped out, and we got this pump. I was able to make a little over $2,000 on a few different trades here, using this just 21 above the 200 in the flag. I was looking for far more follow through, but because we had pumped so far from the 21, I knew that it was an unsustainable rally. Then we watched a flag on the 15 that eventually broke down, right? And then last night they dumped it back down. Then we saw the possible right shoulder. Today it started to dump. I said to my group, I'm not shorting this because I just don't trust the shorts, and look, they brought it down, got a bunch of people to short, and then they're kind of sitting in limbo right now. BOOKMAP's still screaming we're going to 109. It's got big red down there, even 108.5. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is a total breakdown today. Right now, there is a 68% chance that this head and shoulder is breaking to the downside. Still open with a stop loss above 110.900. That's still completely open. The probability says that's going to do it, that you're going to be dumping and coming right back down somewhere to 108.5. See? And you can see here's a choppy area of liquidity. We could definitely revisit. 108.5 is right about here near that point of control. It perfectly lines up with this big red bar. So we have a bearish pattern. We have liquidity. And BOOKMAP, many times we long for this. We long like this, and the long plays out very well. So I got to say, it doesn't look amazing for BTC right now. Right? It looks a little more bearish than bullish. We're about to close a candle below the 200 moving average on the 1 hour. That's another bearish sign for me. And then we'll lose support as well. So tough. We got some bullish divvy on the 15-minute that's attempting to save us, and the 30-minute is attempting to get back above the 200 moving average. You see this? This is like it's... So you're looking for basically an inverted head and shoulder here to get us out of here. And I see sideways, and again, with the news, how the news was somewhat sideways, I see sideways price action here for Bitcoin. And so you kind of see the bigger picture. If we lose that daily trend line and we go inside the pattern, right, we're going to cook. And we're going to cook all the way back down somewhere to 105. That's not off the table. 108.5 is the first area. And we would lose the, basically we would not be able to get back above this 30-minute 200 moving average. So 110, I like it. So you're looking for a move right back up to go after the late shorts, right? And then sideways price action. And then maybe possibly this afternoon into tonight, around 8 p.m. or something, the right shoulder gets made. So, yeah. So there you go. I like this. We get a bounce above the 200 moving average and get the bounce back to the upside for Bitcoin. So this is how we could possibly dig out. Again, the 1 minute would have to get back above the 200 for me to open up a long. Right now, look, we came right back to previous local support resistance. We bounced there, resistance. So you got it. The 1 minute will have to cross 110.2. We've got to cross the 200 moving average. Otherwise, this is a bear flag, and you're going to go lower. Right now, the odds are you're going to dump. The bulls have to get, so like for me, the first step, like I used to play this bounce all the time. I don't do this anymore. Too high risk in the zone. Too many times it faked me out. I've learned to wait to get above the 200, wait for the 21 to cross and take the trade. Or just cross the 21 and take the trade, depending on if the 21's close enough. If the 21's like down here when we cross, I'm less likely. If the 21's like right there, like that would have been an interesting one, but even if it failed, I might have been enticed, You got to look at the moving averages. You got to look at the stochastics. You got to look at the bigger time frames too as well. So right now, let's recap. Overall, we're more bearish based on the 15-minute head and shoulder pattern. That's giving us a probability of a move to the downside. Period. That's it. Secondary, we add some of our own probability, which is how we add BOOKMAP. Like I'm the guy who adds BOOKMAP to the pattern, right? That's my own little thing. And it's telling us we're going lower too as well. So that adds a little more punch to the short. Then we look at this and we can see that the 1 minute has not got back above the 200 moving average. We also can see that we're losing the 200 on other time frames that matter. And so we would have to suggest that this bear flag breaks further to the downside to 109. We would have to. So what I do is I'm not making a prediction. I'm showing you what is possible. Now, there's a chance we break back up above here. We cross with a 21 at that point. I may make a long here, and it may happen on the live stream. We don't know. All right. And that's kind of your analysis here for Bitcoin. The smaller time frames will show you what's happening. If you cross the 200, boom, reversal back to 112.8 is possible, and the whole thing could, we could really get back above this resistance too at 111,000. But only time will tell. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say you should be taking as financial advice, and I have no idea where Bitcoin's going. I don't know. I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. I really don't. I'm not telling you, Bitcoin's going to dump for sure today. Bitcoin's going to pump for sure today. I'm not exactly sure. Some days there's a higher probability than others. Right now, the probability is short. It is. It could change in the next 20 minutes to a half an hour if we get above this 200 moving average. Then I know subconsciously through all my years of data that actually ups the ante through a macro analytical sense that we could go further to the upside. But you'd have to know all that from years of doing it. And so either you trust my subconscious mind or you don't when it comes to this. All right. So here we are. That's kind of where we stand. And on a Thursday with lower volume, September, first week back in school for a lot of kids too, a lot of distractions on the week. And we had data coming in today that we talked about on Forex Factory. As I showed you before, unemployment claims came in at 237 as opposed to 230. So 7,000, not a big deal, but more than previous and more than forecast, right? And productivity quarter over quarter was higher though on non-farm, and revised unit labor costs were lower. So labor costs a little lower, productivity higher. Isn't that bullish? But then more people claiming unemployment, right? Told you Bitcoin going under 100K by October using Bitcoin Go. Been cashing in since 115,000. Shout out to Chris M. He told us, everybody, and that's what's going to happen. So he's spot on. He says that's exactly what's going to go on. I have no idea, actually. I've been doing this for years. I wouldn't say something like that, but maybe you're right. Who knows? Hey, little flash crash to the bottom us out. Hey, the last 3 Thursday candles all bigger than the 6 before them. That's interesting. Lifer, I have not been able to take the class since both my boys play soccer. I would like to learn these charts. Is there another learning option? I mean, you can get a recording of the class, which is just like taking the class if you sit down and really get into it. Yeah. Higher unemployment is good for a chance of higher interest rates. It is. That's what we want. But that used to be the case. And, that used to put pressure on the Fed. You do want higher unemployment. But honestly, that's like when the numbers are far more skewed. Today, it's kind of like chop on those numbers. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but I hope you do. Meaning before, this number was far more substantial. The change was bigger. And when we saw like a bigger change, it put a lot of pressure. But now, like, it's so sideways and back and forth that it just, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm telling you right now, they have to print money. Because that's how they made the society. Look, 97% chance now they're going to cut those rates. So we get the rate cut in September. It would be that's amazing, right? How it jumped. And I'm just telling everyone to calm down and let this rate cut come in. New money will flow into the market, and it's going to be risk on. And when people have that ability to throw money into the market, they're going to put it into where are they going to put it? The stock market, which just has 7 big coins, 7 big things that are the highest they've ever been. Some people will, and it will go higher. Trust me. And then they're going to take those gains in Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, man. That guy Big Sean, a hip hop, basically industry plant, went out and told everyone, buy Ethereum, buy cryptos this week, guys. Do it now while you can. You know what I mean? It's like it's starting to get like people begging their hip hop fans on stream, on live stage to beg them to buy cryptocurrency. It's pretty crazy, right? Like he just sent people possibly to my stream. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so the hip hop industry is now sending people to the Crypto Lifer stream, right? Someone says the rate cut is already factored in. Someone that says that doesn't understand rate cuts at all. Shout out to Liberty and Trust. We love you, man. It's funny, I said that statement one time, and I realized, my team sat me down and was like, Sam, you realize how ignorant that sounds. And I had to learn the hard way. If you want, I can correct you on that statement. Would you like me to? I don't want to be rude, though, and make you sound, unintelligent. So I don't know. Most of us know why this statement makes no sense. Everybody already know this. Anybody? Liberty and Trust. You want to know why? I don't want to be rude to you. I could inform you. It's up to you whether you'll take the constructive criticism or not, and it's up to me whether it's even worth the time of the show. But, survival, love you, brother. That hit me right on the chest, man. You sending your love, light, homie, big day tomorrow. Yeah. And God bless your mom, Vegas Call. We love you, man. He goes, correct me, please. Okay, well, when the rate hike comes in, all right, whether maybe you could say, I'll give you one idea. All right, when the rate cut comes in, people are going to be able to access cheaper money. All right. It may take a week or two for them to get their funds in order and to start like taking out the loans and you know what I mean? But they already have plans of what they want to do with that money. Some of them are just waiting for that button. And so new money will come into the market. So you can't, you know what I mean? Other things is news and events and ideas, tariffs, this and that. And they don't indirectly flow. Like they're not, right? They don't indirectly flow. But this will create money coming into the market. So you can't price that in because like it's actually coming in. If anything, they would be dumping the market because they know they're going to get this money soon and they want to be able to buy it cheaper. So they would be using whatever means they can to send the price lower right now. If we were pumping into the rate hike, it would be a bit odd, right? Because then it would be, and then you would be even more accurate. So again, I'm not trying to be rude to you, but it is telling me that there's money, the money is going to come into the market. And when the money comes into the market, you can't price that in. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't price in liquidity that's coming into the market. Understand? Everybody understand that? I learned this the hard way too. I mean, it sounds smart to say, and you probably repeated someone else, or maybe you learned something on Twitter. I don't know where you get it from. And it sounds like the greatest idea. And again, you know, there may be a couple weeks where we don't pump as expected, and then you're going to look right for a second there. And you're going to say, yeah, see, I told you it was priced in. But when that money flows, man, and that money starts flowing into the market, it's going somewhere, all right? The day we stop learning is the day we stop living. And again, maybe I'm wrong too. I'm always open-minded. I never want to sound like I'm the controller of all information. You know what I mean? So who knows? We'll take it one step, one day at a time here on the channel. But I'm here to learn from you. You're here to learn from me. Together, we all learn and kind of master the market as a group, right? This is a mastermind. Every day we spend our time together to make this happen. No rate cut surprise would be epic. It would be insane. I think there could be a double rate cut. And I think that could be insane. And I don't think people realize how crazy that could be. All right. So Bitcoin on the daily, we're looking for a stronghold bounce here. We're looking for us not to get back inside this. We can wick to this. We can get as low as like 109, 108.9. You know, we could drop 1,000 pickets, then make the right shoulder and get on out of here. But we can't close a candle back inside this. So the daily to me really doesn't matter. The price action is pretty fickle today, and this range really is whatever's to me. I just want to make sure we do not close a candle inside of the pattern. Let me make that clear again. I don't want us closing a candle inside the pattern. Anywhere in here. That is a no-no. All right. And so far, we could be possibly making that right shoulder bounce. Seems to be a bit of struggle here at 109.9. Okay, love the stream, informative and inspiring. Shout out to Electric Dream. Shout out to everybody here on the live. And someone says we're going to 106,000. I don't know where we're going. We're going to look at it one step at a time. One step away from up or down any moment, man. You just got to be open-minded. Bitcoin looks like a reverse headed shoulder forming. That's what I'm looking for. An inverse head and shoulder for bitty Bitcoin on the daily. And, we'll see. The lower we go, the more exciting it gets, 100%. Las Tortugas. Amen. Shout out to Servando Estrada. God bless you, man. The Turtles, baby, the Turtles. I just hope we don't wake up. I seen this potential move a few days ago on the daily of the 12-hour and the 50 MA on the daily. That makes me nervous. We could wick up near 2. I don't know why that would make you nervous. What? Crypto Weirdo. We're going to 200,000. I love it. I love it. You're not bullish enough. Thursday means it's weekly exclusive screen share live meeting with Sam of the 99. If you want to participate, join us. Go to CryptoLifer.com. Every single week, I go over my portfolio, talk about the ups and downs of the market. We do it from 8:30 to 10. It's awesome. So jump on in tonight to find out more. I can't wait to be there with each and every one of you and break it down tonight at 8:30 Eastern Daylight Savings Time. All right. Had a guy put me onto your channel at the bar. Great info and education. Shout out to that guy. Met him at the Edge Bar in Nashville, just in case he's here, man. Shout out to Tay. Super awesome that people are talking about me at the bar and saying, hey, man, if you're into crypto, you should check out this guy. The market could bump on the initial news, but the actual new money dumping into the market is what will cause price to pump, is what he's saying. Pretty simple. Thank you, Sammy. Shout out to KT the Greek, making it sound so sweet and easy. I need to use 1,000 words to fill up 2 hours. You know what I mean? So, like, instead of just saying it's going to do this, I got to kind of, How else do you fill up 2 hours every single day? I'm on a beach in the Canary Islands, and still every day I listen to you, inspiring and beautiful mindset. I just hold a spot bait, but this stream is my daily check-in time. Love the channel, man. Jens Gosens, God bless you on that beach in Canary. I'm closing my eyes right now. I'm feeling the breeze. I'm seeing that beautiful turquoise, crystal clear water. My goodness, right? That white sand. There's probably like a palm tree bent over somewhere near you there, just kind of leaning out to get the sun. Unbelievable. Maybe there's a little fish flying by. You know, you're watching the fish in the clear water. There's a pelican or some type of exotic bird. Wow, you just put me in the zone out there in the Canary Islands. God bless you. Thank you so much for that comment. That's awesome to say that people talk about me in the bar. People listen to me in the Canary Islands. Blessed. You're blessed. Shout out to everybody on that like. Let's get it. We have like 1,700 people here on the live. Let's get the likes up to the watchers. 1,000 likes should be a simple feat. And again, as I said yesterday, a like just helps you. So it is what it is. So remember, we're watching the 1 minute, as it's either going to bear flag or it's going to attempt to save the day here and get back to the 200 moving average. It's attempting to put in a higher low now on a very ugly, it's kind of like a cup and handle here. Can it make this inverted head and shoulder? Attempting a low, a high, and a higher low there. Not amazing at all, but, somewhat of a cup. This could be the shoulder too. Right? Attempting to save the day on a higher low at about 109,800. But we're kind of right there right now. So for me, it's like you fell out the bear flag, no? And you're on your way down, down, down. And remember, that head and shoulders still looks likely to me. So until the Bulls can get us back above the 200 on the 1 minute, you have to submit that the Bears are in control. Understand this? And if you learn this concept with me, which we're live teaching it as it happens, right? So it's not even about me being right some days. Like some days I'm live trading, but other days we're live learning. Like we're going through the idea as it happens so you can live trade it again one day. If it's all live trading every time, then some days I have to move so fast, you can't really learn as well. But if I talk you through it and we go through the motion, it starts to make a lot more sense. Right? And look, support and resistance flip. You bounce here. You fall back. You come and try to get back above this level. Exactly there. And you can't get above it. That is, look, cat ears there. Double top. And you dump to the downside. A bear flag. That's why I only long if we break this 200 and get, I never long these divergences anymore. I've learned my lesson. Unless you're in here and out there, I don't know if you want to play that game. And then it also helps me predict the market because now I know that there's no bullishness. Like you've got to either double bottom here, you've got to hug a higher low and double bottom off 109.8, or you're dropping down to 109,002 and then further down to 108.8 and then 108.5 right here on BOOKMAP. BOOKMAP says we're going lower. So classes in tested, pay attention, Mr. Price. Come and join the 99 for the educational experience of a lifetime. God bless you, man. Thank you for saying that. Shout out to Rave Song Records, the marketing genius out there. Go to CryptoLifer.com to find out more. Hit the subscribe button to a monthly, a quarterly, or a yearly subscription. I'm here every single day. Like yesterday at 7:30 in the morning, we put out an update for Bitcoin. This morning, we talked about a short that's still in the money right now. The stop loss never got hit. We want to make that clear. It's 777's flashed on the screen there. Shout out to my mom and dad, Daisy and Finn. I got them here on the screen. God bless my mom and dad in this little dove here. Got cut off a little bit there. And remember, as the screen says, not financial advice right there. See it? Not financial advice. All right? Clearly. For entertainment and educational purposes only, I'll teach you the moving averages, the VRVP, how to set up your chart, how to use the indicators on TradingView, how to talk the terminology, overbought, oversold, right? What's happening in the markets, cat ears, ups and downs, diamonds, cups and handles. Like your nomenclature, your trading nomenclature will expand. Adam and Eve double bottoms. You will get it in. You will know everything there is to know out here when I'm done with you. All right? Let your light shine. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for saying that. And may God bless everybody here on the stream. I love that comment. And submit to God. Just submit. Say, you know what? I'm ready to do what God's telling me to do. I'm ready to follow the way. I'm ready to stop playing with the devil and stop playing these little games with myself that are draining me and pulling me away from God. I did that for years, everybody, and I knew where I was going, and eventually I felt lost and alone. All I had to do was open my heart up to God, find God, and I was going to be found, but I refused to. I wanted to find my way. It was about me. I found drugs and alcohol to better that feeling. The more I ran, the more I knew I was running from something. Strangest thing, when I ran from God, I knew I was running from something. When I turned to God, all that, I knew I wasn't running anymore. And it's really strange. And it gets darker on one side and lighter on the other, and it's up to you to take that move. And again, I'm not going to sit here and preach for the rest of the thing, but that mindset changed the way I traded, changed the belief that I could win. Kept me going. When times I would have given up and said it's not for me, liquidated my account, sold all my Bitcoins and said I was wrong, and then just said maybe one day I would have. That's happened to some people, right? There was people at the exact same place I was, had DCA'd a Bitcoin, it went down to 3,000, bought more, went to 20, up and down. And then at one point in this journey, they decided it wasn't for them, and they sold all the BTC. They moved on, or they sold the Bitcoin, used that money, put it into leverage, lost the leverage, lost the money and the Bitcoin. I didn't get greedy. I stayed inside the pocket. I kept DCAing. Some days I saw people with way more than me, and I sat on my night shift, and I sat on my one-bedroom apartment, and I wore my same Costco jeans, and I said, who cares? I was through my 20s. I watched all these people with all their money and all the vexing, and no new cars, no new nothing. I stayed in the grind, just buying BTC. Every year, another person that got in when I did decided it wasn't for them and they couldn't hang. Every year, years from now, I ended up on top. All those people that couldn't make it ended up somewhere back down here in the same place they were 10 years ago. Same type of jobs, same opportunities. Maybe they went from 80 grand to 140 grand, which ain't bad. I'm not saying, but they didn't make life-changing wealth. They didn't get out of the rat race forever. Like, they didn't fire their boss at the age of 37 for the rest of their lives. You see what I'm saying? I will never work for someone again for the rest of my life, man. Like, that's it. No way. No way. No way. So, Bitcoin likely going lower out the bear flag. Everything going as it suggested it would. There's no reason to long if you don't get above the 1 minute 200 moving average. Heck, the 30 second. Heck, the 5 second. You got to get above that first, And look, when we lost the 5 second, that's your signal to short. When we lost the 30 second, signal to short right there. When we lost the 1 minute, signal to short right there. Just like it's your signal to long when you gain the 1 minute. Once you understand these concepts, this stuff isn't going to be that hard for you. That's why when I saw the short on the 15 minute and then we lost the 1 hour, the 1 minute 200, you knew that it was very likely we're going to dump. And you say, well, why didn't I open the short? I've been reluctant to short recently just because I've been stacking BTC, and it just hasn't been my thing. But, I should be more open-minded and get off my stubborn horse and short a little more, because I used to short a lot more. Yeah. Exactly what I've been doing for 5 years. I think this year is my year to make insane gains. God bless you, man. Yeah. So there you have it. Down here, I got pants on, beautiful blue pants, actually, which is weird. You think I would have had red pants on, but, although superior intelligence will put your, love you all, but just want to clarify that, to those who will be thinking of another. Shout out to Cali Crop Doctor. God bless you, man. Thank you. God bless you, brother. God bless you, man. Yeah. Someone said Jake out. Shout out to Luke Bigwalker. Crypto Billy in the house and all the beautiful people here on the live. So it looks like we're going lower, folks, and the liquidity wants to get sucked down. I mean, you can see Big Red. Big Red's been right a lot of the time. And so I hate to say it, but it just, I do not long if we don't break the 200 in the 1 minute. You know me. You know me. Sometimes I'll do the 30 minute. I front run it every once in a while, but there has to be a strong reason for doing so. And today there was no strong reason at all. You say at all or at all. I like at all. At all sounds cooler, There's no reason at all to take the trade. And as you can see, red tie, red pocket square, red coat, red day. Red, baby, red. Shout out to the super chats. People still kicking it with the lifer and showing that love. Let's take a look at Maker Dow. Maker, baby, Maker. Been around a long time. Wow, it's up high considering where it was. So last time I put out Maker was in this flag, and it broke out. We got in here maybe somewhere at like 198, 1950, and it pumped all the way up to 2300. Beautiful high for Maker, right? Let's remove the moving averages. Let's take a look at Maker in all its entirety here on the weekly. Double click. Remove the side piece. So, I see kind of this giant Adam and Eve in a way. Could eventually break out. Beautiful double bottom, right? Bang. So that's somewhat of a big sign on the macro. I see a low. I see a resistance. Slight higher low, though, and then I see a higher high, a slight higher high, and then I see a higher low. That's a bullish sign for me. And then I want to make a trend line, right? And then I got to make this trend line. And so what I'm seeing is a symmetrical triangle. All right, that's what I'm seeing. The measured move would be this bigger idea. And then I kind of had this like cup with a bit of a kind of a handle there too. The weekly looks okay. It's bullish. Moving averages are tight. You're above the 200. That looks like you're ready for a big move. Like you've bottomed out on the weekly. It's a good sign. Same in the 5-day. Same on the 3-day. Let me look at the indicators. 3-day chart is very oversold. It's bounced off a higher low. Again, this starts to pump hard right before we have alt season. Because people want to take loans and get crazy. So people start taking loans and getting crazy. They're front running. And so DeFi should start to pump with the rate cut. You get it? Because the money's going to come in. People are going to get into DeFi. They're going to take that free money and stake it in places where they can get a better return. It could offset a real estate dividend. It could, who knows? Like they might say, okay, well, I put into this property. The note on the property is 5 racks. But if I put in 200 grand into this, I make 7 racks a month off the AP. You know what I mean? It's going to open up the doors for a lot. If Bitcoin dumps, though, this could reset and come back down for a double bottom, too, as well. Very oversold. It looks bullish. I'd have to wait for some consolidation. 1950, 2000, anyone in that area. But it does say, hey, this thing could go up to almost $6,000 a coin. Its all-time high was right back there at 6,100, almost 62. So this thing could do it. Maker DAO. I've always liked Maker. Strong project, right? Strong community, like actual good utility. Like it works, right? You don't even have to speculate on Maker. It does what it's supposed to do. So it's basically like a mini bank, man. I just want to get and go eat some chicken wings and go crazy. Who doesn't, man? I got you, man. I'm good, but I'm no Billy. But Servando, I appreciate the homes. God bless Vegas, Cloud. We love you, man. You're an amazing guy. We love you. Keep it real, but not wearing anything but the Joe Biden shot vase. Oh, my God. Crypto Billy, God bless you. Shout out to Keeping It Real Since podcast in the house. Redstone, King Gazades, Justin B, Jamal Antonio, and all my awesome lifers who are kicking it with us in these harsh times. Bitcoin dumping. And there you have it. I mean, it said it was going down, everybody. We didn't wake up and say, oh, my gosh, we're opening up longs. It looks amazing. Oh, why did we get stopped out? No, we woke up this morning saying it looks like a right shoulder is going to get made, and I see a dump with a 15-minute. First thing I gave you was a short. Then I said, there's some hope for the 15-minute double bottom, but, I had to put it out there. There's a chance it could have bounced. Didn't look likely to me. Sammy, God bless you. Anyone making gains on a short from what they learned with the lifer? Anyone just making gains because they know it, or anyone just making gains on a short? Put a 333 if you made gains on the short today, and if you're nailing it. God bless you. You're paying the bills from the knowledge. And so, and that's going to take down most altcoins. We take a look at alts. They're going to be in the red. Troll down. Dora attempting to hold it on the hour, but on the day, you're going to see mostly red. MBLX finally getting a little bit of a bounce, and Troll. Troll's been hot. Everything else, really, the whole market pretty much in the dumps. And on the week, you have mostly red here for altcoins. So I didn't post a lot of altcoins this week. A few possible bounces. But I had to trade lightly. I didn't see swings. It wasn't like an amazing move. Shout out to all the people shorting. God bless you. Look at all those 333s people making gains on the channel. That's awesome. Did so well over the holiday weekend. I'm staying out of it today. Same as me, man. I just did well. I don't want to push it. But it definitely looks like we could have made some massive gains. The short is dumping. Just as suggested. Look at the shoulder, head, right shoulder. You can see it right there. And we lost the neckline. Look at that thing went right to the target. Crazy, right? My first yellow line. Look, it bounced exactly off my yellow line. Of 109,426. Again, that's such a vicious move. That may be the inverted. You know what it is? I realize that, some days I get in my head a little bit, and then there's days I reset and I realize that I have one life to live, that I'm in a better place than I ever was in my entire life, right? And I have no reason to be upset. And if I ever even slightly start thinking negatively, I go, Sam, man, you got to get out of that mindset immediately. I said, Sam, you had 1,000 subs. You had no idea what was going to happen to you. And you somehow were positive. You were editing every video. You were grinding it out. You were making it happen. And you got here. Now you got a whole team. You got a group of people. Your wife is amazing. Shout out to Zeno. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Lakochi. Shout out to the editors. Shout out to my whole team. Shout out to Love Learning, Crypto Billy, everyone that supports me. Jamal Antonio, my man. All the people that are green here in the chart. All the people that are thinking about being green, which is every one of you. I know it. And shout out to everyone, all the beautiful people. Let's get up the likes, up to the watchers too. I'd greatly appreciate that. So I learned, man, my life is short. I'll be 60 years old before I know it. I'm 42. I was just 22. 20 years have gone by so fast, my friends, as I hold this labradorite stone. And so when you're getting caught up on your one lever trade today, on the fact that you may or may not have been liquidated, or the fact that you may have made gains, even if you made big gains and you think you're the man, or you think you're the woman, you're like, look at this fat, you're showing everyone your wins. Remember, it's just one day in this long life, and every moment is a present moment in which we should rejoice, no matter what's happening. If we lose money and then we're upset with our existence, we've lost the ability to have an existence the proper way, in my humble opinion. Like we're letting money getting in the way of one of the most beautiful miracles on earth. The miracle of life, So I just have to say that, because today I'm in a good perspective, and when I'm in a good perspective, I got to share it. Amen. And that's life. And when you lose your mom on Thanksgiving when she's talking to you, you will never be the same. You'll never be the same. You will cherish every single day you don't get a call that your dad's getting airlifted, your mom's dying, or one of your friends is in peril. Right? Thank you, sweetie. God bless everybody here on the live. Thank you so much for being here and being amazing. So we're looking for a possible reversal here for Bitcoin. Not even a good bullish divvy there on the 1 minute time frame, though. Bullish div would be this swing low to this swing low, and we get a nice little uptrend here on the RSI. Here we get kind of a flat trend. It is a little bit. It's like Class C, though. There's a chance. I'm always looking for that reversal. 109.5 for Bitcoin. Right, and as we go lower and lower, and we dumped out that head and shoulder pattern. Anyway, you dig out on the 1 minute first. That's why I'm watching the 1 minute. Not because you have to, not because I'm treachery. Everyone's scared. Oh, the 1 minute. There's this aura around the 1 minute. If you trade the 1 minute, you're a degen. No, the 1 minute has information, just like every chart in the world. Once you open up your mind and realize that there's information out there, the 1 minute's actually pretty strong. There's 60 in an hour. That ain't that small, really, when you think about it. So you're either going to make an inverted again, or you're going to make another flag. If you make another bear flag, you're going to continue down the flag. There's that 108, 780 area and lower. So I see possible both again. I would not long unless we got above the 1 minute 200 moving average. It's a very simple, disciplined way to trade. It'd be cool if we got it during the stream and you saw it cook. But you never know. Sammy changed my life. God bless you, man. Crypto's like the weather in the Northeast. If you don't like it, just wait a day. 100% Mark Twain, baby. Ignorance is bliss. Sometimes I wish I was asleep, like the majority. I never wish I was asleep. I'd rather see all of it and have to deal with it. Yeah. I'm not the man, just the man. Amen. Shout out to Billy. I'm trying a better place today than when I first came here. Hey, God bless you. Still nasty. We love you, man. We all realize that anything could happen at any moment in time. Be blessed that you're not getting that call that someone you love is in peril, man. Straight up. Every single moment that we have a second to breathe, we're in good shape. So, tough day to trade too. Thursdays are not my favorite day to trade. All right, and this would kind of decimate most of the altcoins, or just keep them kind of in that trading pattern. Let's take a look at some BTC pairs. Let's see if there's some hope out here. We'll look at Solana BTC. We'll look at ETHBTC, XRP BTC, and see what's going on. Right, meme core, only thing really up today, and on the in 24 hours. Pump fund, what's strong? Mantle, Sky. Not a lot of craziness. A lot of stable coins. Matic had a little bit of a pump recently, up 13% in the last 7 days, and didn't give it all back, which is good. Story IP up 30% in the last week too. Not shabby, not too shabby. It's some newer coins had some pumps, but not amazing. Solana holding $200. I mean, that's hot. So Solana's like the hottest thing out there right now. It's got institutional grade accumulation right now. That's a rising wedge that could break out. It could also break down and go sideways. It longs it, holds the 21 and holds the 200. I don't care if it dumps out the pattern, whatever it does. It could stop you out. You may have to go lower than the 200 moving average to be safe. You never know if we get volatile. But still watching this for a breakout. Solana still looks interesting to me and could still pump to the upside. We take a look at the total market cap, total 3 here. And you can see we're also, that's got to hold, man. Imagine if this dumped on us and like all the hopes of alt season just melted away. It's all the altcoins in the 3-day, very oversold, but just beginning to. I've seen a dump there. I just, it's a swing down. There's some bearish div there too, and resistance. I don't know. It's not. It's tight. It looks beautiful. I like the moving averages. That's the one very good thing. We're above the 200, touch of the 21. As long as we stay above the 200, we should be able to get altcoin season here. It's looking very close. Again, the fear does create, good opportunity. 51 on the fear and greed index is at neutral. It's actually a pretty good place to me, considering, in the bear market times. Bitcoin pummeling, getting beat to the ground just like we thought. 109.3 now, going further to the downside. Attempting another bullish div here now. We don't need that. We don't need that. You see there's a bullish divergence here now on the 1 minute that's a little stronger than before. RSI now moves up. Moves down. But again, you're now dealing with this same thing that you dealt here. See? You've got to get back above resistance, 109.5. Otherwise, more downside. So I use that to kind of begin to draw my pattern. I mean, I see the 108.9. So it's crazy how the market showed me basically to a T what was going to happen today. That short is now beautifully in the money. Let's just kind of go over it again. Real simply, without a lot of bells and whistles here. But I woke up this morning. I said, let's watch out for the right shoulder on the 15-minute. I said we were like somewhere right here. I said we may just make a right shoulder. Once the shoulder was complete, I said, there you go. And it said to open up a short here, right? With a stop above these wicks or right there. And the take profit would be the length of the wick to wick from the neckline. And bang, it's basically a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio down to 108,151. Got a gap in the VRVP, back to liquidity here, so maybe we don't go much lower than right there. 109 could hold, but yeah, so that's what will look likely to me, and that's exactly what happened. We lost the 200 moving average on the 1 minute too as well, which told you that we were going to dump. So those two things together are a high likelihood signs of a dump. Basically, if it was the other way around, if we had made a right shoulder, we would have crossed the 200 moving average on the 15 and touched the 21. I would have said, hey, I long when we get above the 200 and the 21 touches. Then the 1 minute would have crossed the 200, and I would have said that's a long, right? Then we would have made a flag right there. And I said, look, the 21 above the 200, I'm all in. See, when I long, it's exactly like the short. When I short, it's exactly like the long. I'm doing the exact same things over and over again. It doesn't matter, my friends, right? Once you understand these concepts, it all makes sense to you why I do what I do and why I'm able to call it out the way I do it. Like, I woke up this morning, and I'm not trying to be a psychic, and I say, I have no idea where Bitcoin's going. I know nothing but the fact. And I didn't know it was going to short for sure. And I specifically said to my group, I'm not opening up a short. That doesn't mean you don't open up a short. Did you make $2,000 yesterday? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. If I had a big day the day before and you did and you didn't, or you just had a regular, maybe you didn't trade. Maybe you take the short today. You know what I mean? My point is, even though I'm a mentor and people love to copy trade me and all that craziness, you still can't you can't shadow everything I do, because you may not have had the same results I had yesterday. And what I do depends on what happened yesterday. Like, if I had a huge loss yesterday and took a beat down, I'm trying to think like, well, it wouldn't matter. Yes, I guess. Today I might not trade anyway, but if I had a big gain, I might not. It depends, you know. If I didn't trade at all yesterday, I was busy and I see this opportunity, maybe I would have taken the short. I don't know for sure, though. So we know there's some support here that could give us a bounce, but it's unlikely. It's more likely that this thing continues lower, right? We keep trying to give it a chance to make an inverted head and shoulder and show up for a different move. I keep saying, nah, I'd rather don't. Like, you'll dig out again, shoulder, head, right shoulder, or you'll just continue lower. Right now, 108.5 is the target and the likely scenario, and BOOKMAP is screaming for it. So everything looks likely for 108.5. Altcoin still looks somewhat okay. Let's take a look at the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency, just to see, and we're going to give you that macro analysis tomorrow. It feels like I just did it, right? It's so crazy how fast the Friday comes around. Like, it was just Friday. That was one of the fastest weeks of my life, right? We've already gone through so many, few weeks of school already here. We've been in school since, I think, the 8th. Pretty crazy. Nasty pattern right there. So total market cap still has this previous support as resistance flip, which is, bullish to me, as long as we can hold it. It's got this uptrend. Got this down flag. Saying that you can almost see that right shoulder. You could see it just, wow. It's sketchy enough to create the fear for the breakout, but it's also like, wow, like, what if it makes the right shoulder there? Like, what if it bearishly retests? I see some possibilities of struggle there. The weekly doesn't look amazing. It's pointed down on the stochastics, right? 3-day chart's oversold, but could have a little more to go. And the daily is curving bearish. Moving averages could dump to the 200. I got to be honest, it looks tight, but it's not like, usually I look at a pattern, I can be like, yeah, that's more likely to pump. This looks in the middle, and I see some weakness here. I would love it if we get back above 388 trillion, because that's going to be like, okay, at least we got above that resistance and we can knock that off the list. Until then, there were guarantees, right? I'll take a look at Polygon as it had that crazy pump recently. Matic. Funny, I saw it in this flag. It was tight, getting channeled, and it did break out. Another flag, then kind of went sideways. $20.23, yeah. Same story there, even worse. So just wanted to look at it on the biggest chart possible. So, it's making this kind of bottom. Looks like a double bottom there finally. All right, and it's a good ecosystem that still has DeFi, still has staking, still has a lot built around it. It's also really fast and it's very inexpensive to use. So, I mean, Matic did its job. There's really nothing wrong with it. It feels like people remember they left it for a veil. some of the head people. And ever since then, I feel like Matic kind of struggled. I'd look for the 3-day chart to come back to the 21 and make a bit of a flag. Hold above resistance and then possibly pump in, I don't know, 12 to 15 days, something like that. September 28th after the rate money comes in. And then boom, DeFi rips up and we get a bit of move on Matic and the double bottom plays out. Hey, it looks bullish to me. It just looks like it has to cool down a bit for about 9 to 12 days. And I could be wrong. But that's what I see happening. Squeeze in the cheeks. I don't know about you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Squeezing the what? What's going on there? I thought he was talking about something else. Okay, let's take a look at the fan funding here and see what's happening. Shout out to Andrew Yurkovic. Thank you so much. God bless you. Michael Reinhardt. I see Bitcoin performing an inverse head and shoulder on the daily. I see that too, Michael. MKR is holding up strong on the 200 EMA daily. It does look good. Production department. God bless you, Lifer. Will the interest rate cut affect gold? And in what way? It could get it to pull back a little bit, but they're also going to continue to print money, which puts gold continue to go up. What are your thoughts on World Liberty Finance? I'll be honest. I stay away from things I didn't get in on early. So I tried to get into it early. You had to like fill out a sign and be an accredited investor. And I signed up to this like virtual company that accredits you. And it didn't work with Brave browser or something. Like I was having issues with it. And it didn't work with it. And I think a lot of people got in really early and they sold it. I put $1,000 in at like 22 or 24 or something like that, right? I'm like, I already lost a little bit. So I'm all set. If I didn't get in super early, I wouldn't chase it. And I think once the ecosystem starts to rise and actually has use cases and people start using it. But for the most part, I think it was whoever got in super early was able to make a payday. And that's about it for me. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. But the charts don't look amazing. Right? And there you have it. I mean, maybe it bounces off this low right now. Yeah. Just like Pump.Fun. You haven't heard me talk a bunch about it. I didn't think it would. I don't chase a lot of this stuff. I'm pretty smart about it. And I also like my lev trades. I'm usually in a pretty big trade for BTC or watching Bitcoin closely. And this stuff is a distraction for me. So again, I know when new coins are coming out. I talked about it. We went over it. But I didn't chase. I wasn't like, we're going all in here, I'm very risk averse to things that are brand new or that, and again, it's great that it's going to be a new ecosystem. It's great that it's connected to the, Gov and all that stuff. I'm not opposed to it. I think it's great for adoption, but it's got to make some moves. All right. Thank you so much for the super chat. Shout out to everyone that threw down. Production department, Mike Reinhardt, Underground Crypto, and Andrew Yurkovic. God bless each and every one of you for throwing down on this beautiful day. So yeah. And again, another thing too is, I love BTC, but even Michael Saylor probably owns some real estate. You know what I mean? No one so the key is to somewhat, everyone says diversify, right? And I'm always like, I didn't diversify. I was all in on BTC and that's what got me where I'm at, right? But once you get to a certain place in life, it's good to de-risk from one asset to the next if it presents a possible value, right? Again, Bitcoin produces the least amount of risk over time, but you can't live in Bitcoin, right? You can't throw a Frisbee on your Bitcoin lawn, right? You can't, put your kids in a gated community on a Bitcoin gated, you know what I mean? You can't be inside of Bitcoin. You can't drive Bitcoin down with your hair, you're with the top down with your hair on the wind. My whole point is, at one point, there should be a livable piece of your life, and I looked at my life. I was like, man, I know I could go through how to get rich the most. And there's some moves that will make me richer, and everything should be on a rich move. But I also said, man, what about my life? Is that soft? Is that right? You know what I mean? I don't know. I think a 10-year go without period is long enough for you to probably change your life. What I mean is I went 10 years, a night shift, wearing, whatever, stacking. I had a plan. I had a dream. Like I quietly knew that in the long run, everything was going to play out over time, but I had to be disciplined for 10 years straight. I wore the same type of clothes. I worked a night shift. I kept my mouth shut. I just did my thing. I took night shifts. I took double shifts. I took whatever shift. I kept grinding. I made side hustles. I started businesses. I did other things. And then I realized to get out, I had to start my own business. I was going to have to do something to get out. Trade, live stream, whatever and I always wanted to live stream. I always wanted to teach. It was a true dream of mine. So I started small, one video at a time, and I never even knew, like, I didn't even understand the concept of having a Discord and all that. I didn't. I really didn't. I was in a trading group for years, and when I started, I was just kind of like, I just want to show people what I'm doing. I never thought anyone would work with me. I never thought I would get a sponsor or anything like. I never thought any of that. I just was like, I just want to do what I like to do, was just play with this stuff on the screen. You know what I mean? And see where it goes. I just was sick of being afraid of trying something new too. That's mainly what it was about for me. It was saying, you know what, I'm gonna do it and stop playing games with my life. Like, and then I said, I had these questions with myself. I said, why do you keep going to work? I said, because I'm afraid I can't get another paycheck another way, and I like the money, and I said, so you're addicted to money, man? I said, why don't you just go without your job for a little while and figure out a way to live? I said, why do you have to be like, you know? I said, you can wear the same clothes. I said, you can buy Costco's dough, a big bag of dough for $50. I said, you could make pizza for like the next 7 months. And so that's what I did. I started making pizza at home. I put meat on it, you know. I get ground beef for the protein. Sometimes it was, you know, and I ate a lot of pizza. I really did. Homemade pizza. 4 or 5 nights a week, homemade pizza, man. When I was hungry. And then again, I didn't have to leave the house, because I didn't have to leave my trading or what am I learning and waste time on a really cold winter day. You know what I mean? On a nasty day when it was raining and like, you know, 18 degrees in the Northeast. And I'd be honest, half the reason I got where I'm at today is I was making pizza at home. These are true stories of like how to make it. And I bought dough and I made pizza, man. I got really good at making my own pizza too. I got dang good at it. And I could whip up a couple pies all the time, you know. Then I started freezing the dough. I had the dough waiting. I'd make the dough. It was crazy. Anyway, and that's how I didn't waste money on things I didn't need, and I didn't move. And then when I got a raise and my life changed, I made a point not to automatically just spend all my money, you know. So here we could be digging in. It starts with a possible inverted head and shoulder. We got to get something, and then you got to get above the resistance. Then you can go after the 200 moving average, and then you can kind of change the whole way, and then you can get through the gap. But it's got to work. It's got to make sense, and you got to grind through. All right? Amen. Today, likelihood we're rolling over. Likelihood we're going to 108.5 there. But that is what it is. No guarantees at all. But that's the likely scenario for Bitcoin. Okay. One thing I wanted to talk about yesterday, I forgot. I said I was going to show you, and it hit me today. I was like, man, you didn't show them. I want to look at the Dow Jones Industrial. Nice pump with the Dow above the 5. The Dow getting a little bit of a reversal there. What I want to show you here on the Dow Jones, right, is the one time, I mean, look at that beautiful inverted head and shoulder there. I mean, the Dow pump, you know, basically pumping on the news. And the rate hike going to 97%. I mean, that's going to get the Dow cooking. Look at the Dow in an inverted head and shoulder. It's basically your S&P and your NASDAQ in basically very, you know, overview. 54,000 for the Dow Jones. All-time highs coming. It's going to they're going to print this money. At that point, I don't know how we don't have some type of, but even, see, you have to understand, even if we get a massive crash from there, 618 Fibonacci, like, they've printed so much money that even when they crash the market, they can't crash the market anymore. You get it? You know what I'm saying? Either the whole market has to collapse completely, or it just keeps kind of going down just enough to come back up again. Yeah. I'm staying long until the daily closes below 108K. Yeah. What were your favorite quick cheap meals? Give us some recap ideas. I just told you, man, I made pizza, dude. I'd reheat the pizza that I had frozen from the night before. Quick cheap meals were, okay, one of them was, you know, just grilled cheese with tomato soup. I'd make tomato soup, and I'd just get organic tomato soup in a box. And I'd have tomato soup with, you know, with a grilled cheese. You know what I mean? That's it. What are your thoughts on the lunar eclipse, September 7th? Not much, but I hope it moves the market. So the Dow looking interesting, right? And again, what I want to show you on the Dow is the monthly. We had this one tweezer, and look at how beautiful. It looks like it's about to explode. So the Dow's about to pump. You'd think that the Bitcoin would fall that basically global liquidity. But right there, the Dow was making a rising wedge right here. It eerily looks a lot somewhat like the Bitcoin. Although Bitcoin fell out of the lower trend line, which is... But you got this kind of rising wedge, and we made a tweezer bottom, a tweezer top right there, with a massive bearish engulfing candle. However, we were able to continue to pump out of that, even with a wick candle after that, which you would think was somewhat bearish. We would make 3 beautiful months and then come down, and look how crazy this is. We would pump for 3 months. On the 4th month, which would be August, the month of August, the worst month ever, we would go and dump down and take 2 months of gains out. Wiped out any leverage traders, right? See that? Dow Jones does exactly what Bitcoin does, man. It all is the same. People just try to act like crypto's more volatile. And then look, they pump it here again. They go down and liquidate everybody again. And they pump it, bring it down, then they rip it. And they find the top. Then look, they clear out. Look, how crazy is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in 1 month, they clear out 1, 2, 3. Like they clear out gains that started back here in December of 23. April of 25, they clear out those gains. It's just, and then they rip the price, right? People got decimated here in the market. So a lot of people, now it makes sense now why the average homeowner and people, because they got this scared the heck. Now all the analysts are saying we're in for the biggest crash in history. And they're telling us, you know what I mean? They're all bearish. But if we print this money and you got room in the stochastics, and you use this as support or resistance, and you just do your analysis, this tells you you're likely going to break out on the Dow. Monthly looks bullish. So my whole point is Bitcoin just did this. And it looks massively bearish. But somehow, some way, the Dow turned this into a bullish move. So I'm not saying it's guaranteed to happen for Bitcoin, but it's the only hopium, smokium, bopium, whatever you want, hopium, smoke, opium, smokium, hopium that we have right now. You know what I mean? Hopium, copium, sorry. But that's, you know what I mean? Sorry, that was annoying. Kind of fishy, it bottomed out at 33. I know, that was weird. On the evens, too. Yeah. 5 days, the BLS is set to reverse the U.S. job numbers for the 12 months ending March 25th. According to Goldman Sachs, a downward revision of up to 90 amount is coming. This would be the biggest downward. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that was the end of the good employment times for me. Roger that. I'm on it. You're funny, man. It's not what I said. They rip off those gains, stealing their price by deceiving the desperate. Oh, man. Someone said possible inverted on the 1 minute. We're watching the 1 minute. It's weak. But I get it's possible. And again, trade with me. Stop getting wrecked. Understand how important the 200 moving average is. In on that 200 moving average on the 1 minute. It's possible cup and handle. There's a chance we're trying to dig in here. Shoulder here, right shoulder. Why do I make it so small on you guys when we could just stare at it, right? Shoulder here, right shoulder. Hey, that's an inverted. Doesn't have to be perfect. Could be the legendary bounce call. Markets at me, I got massive gains and lost it all. At Dunkin', you're funny. At Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Recessions have been outlawed. Any major downturn, immediate liquidity injection. Yeah. My favorite scene from The Big Short is the scene with Margaret Rubio in the bathtub drinking champagne. Wife works for a larger aerospace company, and they are offering employees early retirement to avoid layoffs right now. I think are headed to a bad place. Hey, I think, man. I mean, you have to understand that means the owner is in a bad spot in his mind. There's another guy starting an aerospace company hiring, about to rip and show him how to get it done. So just because your company is looking at negative thoughts doesn't mean you should be. Expand your mind and be one of the smaller generation of people that are pushing forward when everyone else is down and out. That's how you become a jet setter. That's how you become a maverick. That's how you change the world. Stop doing what, you know what I mean? Don't give in to the fear, my man. Yeah. It may be some writing on the wall for that company, but it doesn't mean that it's for everybody. Not for me. My company will expand in the next year or two. I'll hire more people and continue to create more opportunity. I'm going to grind every single day until it happens. It doesn't matter how hard I have to work. My brand will not stop. Everybody on my team will not stop. We'll continue to push. My wife will not stop. We are all here to push to win. And that's it. There's no excuses. There's nothing else. We will win. That's the only option. The only option you give yourself is the one that you obtain. And the only option is to win. That's it. Amen. We're going to 107 in the back all the way up, up, up. Somebody says, hey, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't make stuff like that. UPS is also offering early retirement service packages to avoid mass layoffs. Interesting. If Bitcoin is following DJI, perhaps we pump till December, have a 6-month pullback and a shorter bear market this time, catching people off sides. Jesus is the way. God bless you. We will not stop. Smash the like. Thank you, Lakochi. I own my home. It's a 30-foot RV. God bless you. Smart move. Small inverted on the 1 minute. Then a big one coming. I don't know. Yeah, maybe like one of these. Possible. I see what you're saying. Hey, you're spot on with that. That means you're able to zoom in on the zoom in. I like you. Yeah, good insight. My life completely changed for the better when I surrendered to God 100%, Justin. I tell middle America about to lose the jobs. It's going further. Divide the middle class into those who own assets and those who slowly go poor. Yeah. I'm in the Northeast. I lost the job in 2021. Got this one. There's one thing I like about the Big Short movie is that everyone was right about something being wrong in the market. And they did not know when it would happen, but it would. Yeah. I see memory simmers in the market economy. Oh, 100%. But I've been saying that for a long time. And now it's like money printing status. It's kind of like, they're going to issue stablecoins. Stablecoin issuers are going to buy U.S. bonds. Crypto is going to save the market. You see what I'm saying? Somehow, some way, we could get a move. I'm a silver bug. We've all, a lot of bugs here. Remember, it's likely, I'm not saying we're going to pump. It's likely we're going to the downside. I only open longs here in this situation if we get back above the 200 moving average. I'm looking for 108,569 for Bitcoin. I'm looking for another short down. Down, down, down. My life got better the second I watched this channel every day. God bless you for saying that. That's amazing. Blue collar, going to keep working. Silver spoon jobs. White collar is what might dwindle. Like what happened in C. Yeah. When people lose jobs, then 33% of America who contribute to the 401k won't contribute. Outflows on retirement is going to cause a market bleed. That's already been the case, man. BlackRock called. Think asked if we can get at least 500 more likes of this video. He'll personally collaborate with MicroStrategy and BlackRock to pump the market. As long as you own assets, you'll be fine with any market. I like that. Semi-crypto to zero with 1 second. Oh my gosh. I don't know what that means, man. Someone says bullish div of the 15-minute. 1095 is attempting to dig in here. There's a battle right now. We're at least consolidating slightly, but it's bearish consolidation. I love if I'm opening up a long later today and I get my signal. Hey, we just might. We could be at 112,000 by the end of the day. You never know. Yeah. I want a sub-Discord bear market. Will be the same amount of entry. I don't know what he means. Yeah. Do you experience any connection problems today? No. Yeah. Everything's been great. No issues. Excellent connection. And I always want to say thank you, dear Lord, for the excellent internet connection. I mean, every day I go live, like a couple days, like, the power went out, internet connections, things go on. I'm super blessed that we have everything that we do have, and we're where we are right now. All right. I'd like to join the Discord for 3 months plan and want to pay with USDT. Please let me know how to proceed. Email cryptolifers@gmail. Email cryptolifers@gmail. We appreciate that. So the first thing is you'll get above the 5-second 200 moving average. Let me get rid of all my scribblies. All right, so the first thing that'll happen, and I know this is insane, but I'm just teaching you if you want to know, is how all markets work, every market in the world. First thing you'll do is get above the 5-second 200 moving average. You'll round out into some type of inverted head and shoulder. You'll start making higher lows and you'll break out. Then you'll get above the 30-second 200 moving average. Once you do that, you'll get above the 1-minute 200 moving average. If you do those three things, then we can possibly begin to reverse. I've seen us do all those three and then hit a resistance on the 1-minute 200 and dump. Right? Sammy, considering opening a big boy trade on Bitcoin, I did that earlier, but I ended up taking profits. I didn't like the continuation. I didn't see it going further. And I'm happy that I did. Now we're kind of in limbo here watching. All right. No, I'm not considering opening up a big boy trade. I will tell you when I am, though, in the trading group. Yeah. If we're at 112K by day's end, I would jump for joy. Me too, man. It would be nice. AVAX looks interesting too as well. Yes, it does. I'm the wealthiest I've ever been and haven't increased my spending budget in 10 years. Wife will be shocked when I open my wallet. God bless you, brother. People get so nervous about a bear market, but remember, as lifers and traders, we always find ways to make money. Whether the trend is up or down, we will. I don't stress bear markets at all. I've been through multiple ones with the trading group. We've doubled in size, you know. Smashing the likes from multiple YouTube accounts. Hacked the system for Sam and the fam. God bless Cash Crypto, man. I love you. Thoughts on Solana? Solana looked good. We went over it pretty in depth. You know, yeah, I would look at the timestamp later on if you missed it. It really is a really dang good update on Solana. And Solana's strong right now. Which leads me to my segue here on BTC pairs. So I'm going to look at SOLBTC right now and take a look at how that looks. And that looks bullish to me. So, and this tells me that Bitcoin's likely just going to make a higher low and eventually moon. And these are great prices if you don't own Bitcoin. I'm not a financial advisor, but man, I feel bad for every time I meet someone and they're in crypto and I ask them, let's watch. We're going to do a poll here. Watch this. Do you own more than 0.01 BTC? Okay, 0.1 is 10,000. 0.01 is $1,000. All right. About $1,100, right? Make that clear. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Because a tenth is 10 grand. So do you own more than 0.1 Bitcoin? Yes or no? I just want to find out. How many people here own more than 0.1 BTC? All right. And I bet it's less than I think. I think everyone does. Because I think everyone listens to The Lifer and all my streamers and all my people, they do the right thing and they stack their Satoshis. But you know what? Someone the other day told me, man, less people buy Bitcoin. Like, they don't do what you're telling them, man. They tell me, they say they don't stack like they should. And I was like, no. And he's like, I'm telling you, man, run a poll, see how many people. And I stacked Bitcoin, man. I did it over and over again. I would continue. You saw me do it. I do it all the time. Look, that's a beautiful cup and handle on SOLBTC. That says it's about to rip. So Sol Bitcoin, basically selling your Bitcoin for Sol right now on the monthly. It's telling you it's the best look in the game right now. That you're going to get a bounce. And that over time, this is going to beat up on Bitcoin. Ethereum Bitcoin, which started to struggle a little bit and slow down. And as I said, it looks bullish, but it looks like it has to come back down to the 21-day moving average. You see? And it tells me we have like 4 or 5 more weeks. It's crazy because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It tells me we have like 5 weeks of sideways price action. So it tells me that September is going to suck. It's going to be a nothing month, a nothing burger. And we're going to begin to pump October 13th to the 20th somewhere. That's just what the charts tell me. I could be wrong, right? Yeah, the poll is 0.01. It is the poll is 0.01. Yes. Yes, it's 0.01. Yeah. Do you own more than 0.01? Right? 0.1 would be 10 grand. 0.01 is like I want to see how many people own more than like $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. You see? I'm correct, right? If you go to 110, I'll just make sure this is pretty clear. 109,550 times 0.01, right? Should be about $1,090, right? Yeah, $1,095. I want to see how many people own $1,095 worth of Bitcoin. So right now, we've got about 264 people. Half the people own Bitcoin, half the people don't. And we have a poll going right now, everyone. If you just jumped onto the channel, do you own more than 0.01 BTC? Maybe now some people don't want to answer, but I'd like to know. Well, boom, on my birthday, September 24th, go Solana. My company restructured 2 years before COVID. So it was already where we needed to be. It didn't have to cut like others. God bless you, man. Time will tell, but the Bitcoin cycle is likely done in its traditional form. I don't know. Anything is possible. We did pump way before the halving, but I mean, we still have a halving. Yeah. I got quite a few. Okay. Shout out to Jamal. God bless you, man. I stopped buying after I accumulated 100. I mean, good move for you. I wanted more, but doesn't seem like the best time to load up. You know, I believe it's, again, I always believe it's the best time to load up a little bit. Maybe not load hard, heavy. There's definitely lows and highs. But I believe it's always a good time to accumulate. I like a 10-year plan for every Bitcoin I buy. Every time I touch a Satoshi, it's, well, in 10 years, where will this be? And I'm like, I think it'll be way higher. I'm like, okay, then buy. You know, can I afford it? Am I going to spend it? And can I go without for the next 10 years before I need it? Yeah. If all those are answered, I'm all in again, right? He said, that's crazy to me. How could you be a Bitcoin and not have that? Because that's what happens, though. A lot of people, you have to understand, they come into that concept thinking they want to make it. They think altcoins are going to do it. They're looking at memes and altcoins. They want to make 100x, 50x, and everyone tells them that Bitcoin can only 2x now. And everyone's telling them Bitcoin's not your coin. So they don't even grab a little bit of it. Not even like a couple, you know what I mean? And I always tell people on the back end, man, for me personally, like there has to be some accumulation for Bitcoin. Always, 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 always. The big boys don't stop. That's what the big boys are doing. I got to copy the billionaires. That's what they're doing. Right? I'm not going to copy no one else. The people with less money, the 99% of people, 95%, they're not doing that. The smaller amount of people, the people in the top 5%, they're stacking BTC every time there's a bit of a chance. Right? With any excess cash that they're able to accumulate or create. So I'm doing what I see the smaller percentage of the richest people do. I'm not doing what I see everyone else do. If I do what everyone else does, I'm going to be where everyone else is. And I don't want to be there. You know what I mean? I would like to fly private around the world with my family, not have to wait. Right? I remember the other time, me and my family, we sat 9 hours because some woman said she literally screamed, there's a fire on the plane. I mean, she scared us to death. I would love to not have to go through that ever again and fly private. Again, I'm not saying I have to. I don't want to be a prissy. But dude, what if I was able to maintain that type of lifestyle? That would be amazing. That's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline, and it's going to take years of effort, right? And smart investing, and my money's got to work for me. Not going to something that's going to be like, oh, right? I don't own Bitcoin because I only day trade. Hey, shout out to Daniel, Moldovan. Hey, God bless you, man. I was sold on Bitcoin when I realized that the last cycle almost nothing outperformed BTC. Amen. I still buy Bitcoin every week, even if it's a small amount. Rave Song Records, because you're, a man of wisdom. Yeah. Exactly. I'm all in on alts, then plan to rotate into Bitcoin and then cycle. See, here's the deal. This guy Christian said that's an egotistic way of thinking. See, the problem, this is what I wanted to make sense. And Jim Rohn brought this up to me, Christian Pineda. So when I grew up middle class, right, and I had these plans of becoming a multimillionaire and wanting to go all around and all this, my friends and family implemented the program in my mind that I was being deceitful, I was rude, and I thought I was better than everybody else. No one even said that to me. I just thought that was the case. Then Jim Rohn said, no, Sam. Basically what Jim Rohn says, when you fly private and you get a private jet, you show other people that it's possible. You get what I mean? Jim Rohn told me that when I lower my standards for everyone else to make sure that I'm like humble or whatever, and again, it's not about you want to stay humble, but my point is, when you go after things that are higher than the average, you make other people see that it's possible. And you actually do the opposite of what you're saying. It's actually not egotistical. It's quite opposite of that. You're freeing other people from thinking, hey, like when I see that, like I follow Meet Kevin, the guy Meet Kevin, and I saw him start his YouTube channel way back in the day. I saw him get his real estate license. I saw him grind, learn how to deal, start his courses. I saw the guy do his whole thing. And I saw him buy a private jet one day, and I said, wow, man, like he did it. He got to that place where he flies private now. I watched him grind every single day from the ground up. To me, that's inspiring. Extremely inspiring. You know what I mean? I don't really think about flying private a lot. I don't. It's never on my mind. It's not something that I like obsess over. But it would be a pretty cool place to be at one point in life, right? That's all I'm saying. And don't apologize for raising your standards. That's another thing that I learned about success. You'll get successful, and then, your standards will be higher than 95% of the world, and people will think you're conceited and rude for wanting to have a higher standard. Like if you want to have a $175 tomahawk steak at the nicest restaurant, or you can go home and cook a ribeye, I get it. But like, don't apologize for eating that $180 steak if that's where you would like to be. The universe provides for all thoughts and pleasures in the world. As long as you're not like, hurting people to eat that steak, you know what I mean, or doing something deceitful, there's no reason why you can't eat whatever you want or go wherever you want. Never apologize for high standards. I want to make that clear because a lot of people will put you down when you start getting successful. They'll say things like he said to me, you're egotistical for having big dreams. Don't let that hold you back. That got in my head for years, and I was like, they're right, I'm being rude. And I actually didn't go after big dreams. I held my dreams back because what other people said to me, I listened to them. I let the program me back into the mediocrity of programming. Don't do that. I'm pulling you out of mediocrity programming. I want you to become something different. I'm in a very small percentage of people. I'm not trying to be rude, but not many people did what I did with a YouTube channel, whatever. I know it's about me, blah, blah, blah. But all I have to go on is my examples. I could tell you about everyone else, but I don't know, Tom Brady, Michael Phelps, and I use those examples. But I turned something out of nothing. I found a job that didn't exist, made it happen. I worked every single day until I busted through 100K. And again, every day we still have to work, right? The market's tough. It hasn't been easy, right? Exactly. Yeah. He said, no, you should look up to God, not people. 100%. 100%. Amen. Could say, my big dream is to build a school in Africa for young traders. Oh, I'll bring water to AI, but he'd prefer a private jet. No, the thing is, you could do both. You could do both. The point is, once you get the private jet, you've already built those schools. You see what I'm saying? You've checked off the list. You've been able to do all of those things. Anyway, you don't get it. I'm not trying to convince you, man. Amen. You know what I mean? NFT feels the right way now, but I see a world where deeds are on chain as NFTs. Work so much better than paper. Yeah. I don't own Bitcoin. Bitcoin owns me. Hey, God bless you, man. Yeah, but his ETF closed it. It didn't do too well. I have to, the investment side doesn't do great. He stuck to real estate. Would have done amazing, right? Rave Song Records funny. Don't own any at the minute, but we'll do in the next bear. Interesting. Can you teach me how to draw that airplane? Yeah, what you do, okay, is you come on the front, and then you come off with the, right, and then you want to make sure this comes off the side. Then you go down, and then you got to get a little wing, right? All right, and you're pretty set. And then a little window, right? Maybe a little smiley face. I don't know how you do it. And there you go. I mean, that's how you, that's a Boeing 747. Perfectly drawn. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, right? I mean, that's spot on, if you ask me. Yeah, Sam, you remember what Chris taught us about ETH? No. Chris who? These guys are literally... Oh my gosh. I own 12 bucks of Bitcoin, planning to buy after my alt win. Sam is a great guy. I would want on my team any day, hands down. Shout out to you. God bless you. I'm going to use this forever. Thank you. I'm indebted to you and your drawing skills. 100%, man. Do we always spend 2 hours talking about himself? 100%. Yeah. Honestly, we went over so many coins. We talked about Bitcoin for literally over an hour and a half. All right. We're at 19400. I know I could do this trading. All I know is the lingo and nothing else. What's the best way to start the guide after I join the trading group? Just show up every day. Go into the group and start posting your charts inside the content library. We have a place where you can post your charts. You got to start. It's just like gardening, man. You're not going to get good until you put your hands in the dirt. You got to start somewhere. All right. Sam's always been a hard worker. Past videos or he never gives up. 100%. Right. Someone says flying private isn't as expensive as people think. It probably isn't. You know what I mean? And I shouldn't even talk about, I don't care about flying private. I don't. If I never fly private the rest of my life, it wouldn't matter to me. I'm just saying these are things that I've seen people achieve that would be interesting to achieve. That's all I'm saying. I don't mean to be attacked by it. I could live in a cardboard box and be happy. Trust me. I went 10 years without, like, I don't mind. Right? And once you change your mindset, you're going to become a millionaire. It's millionaire mindset. Just think about it. When someone goes to the gym and gets in a good shape, do they just get to the gym and their mind says they're fat and say they can't do it? And all of a sudden they look better? No, they say, I'm going to go to the gym and change my life. And they do it 1 day, 2 days. It starts in the brain, right? Same thing as a trader, same thing as, entrepreneur, same thing if you're into finance. You got to start in your brain. Start in your brain, keep it moving, and keep going. And next thing you know, things can change. All right? ETHBTC looks interesting to me, but it does look like it has to pull back for a little bit. I don't see a huge move in Ethereum. I'm telling you that right now, right? Remember what Chris told us? Chris who? I'm trying to think. Like my old mentor, Chris? Like Chris who? I'm confused. Still inside a bit of a bear flag consolidation. Unless it's possibly a bigger inverted that could break out. It's possible right now. The 1 hour looks interesting with oversold Stokes. We got to cross that 200 moving average. Class or group for the beginner. I started watching after a surgery and now I dabble in the charts. I think the class is amazing. Once you take the class, you just want to jump on into the group, in my humble opinion. Yeah. I teach class the second to last Saturday of the month this month. Jump on in, hit the QR code to find out more. I can't wait to see you there. And if you want to join the trading group, go to cryptolifer.com. All right? He goes, right, there's always a guy at the end of the stream who misses all the sauce we went over and then complains about Sam talking about his life at the end of the stream after a 2-hour stream. Crazy. God bless you, man. Thank you. He goes, what did he teach us about Ethereum? I don't remember, no. You're only going to get one more chance to snipe the bottom. I hope you're right. That would be awesome. I love hearing stuff like that, but it's like hopium for the brain. Any opinion on Litecoin this cycle? No. Yeah. V-shaped recovery now. Be careful. Anyway, we'll watch it closely. If Bitcoin gets a pump today, the altcoins will pump. They held off pretty well. So this looks like a bear flag. If we get above the 200 moving average, there's a chance you'll catch me longing. We'll look for this idea here, and there's a chance. But right now, it's more bearish. I see a 108.5 coming for Bitcoin. I'll change my tune if we get above the 200 to the 1, and then I'll look for longs. BOOKMAP also is with me on 108.5. They both suggest we're going there. Look. So God bless everybody. Thank you so much for being here. May God bless you all for jumping on in and kicking it with the lifer. It's 12:04. We did it again. I don't know how I do it every single time. I really don't. I get anxiety before every single stream. I still do. Because I don't know. You never know what's going to happen. I don't know if the trade's going to pop. I don't know what people are going to say. I have no clue. But I put my best foot forward. I believe in God, and I believe that all things will happen in the best way, and that God's going to put his best, basically everything is in motion with me, and God has a plan. So I've submitted to God, and that helps the stream go well. Everyone, I love you. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, the secret to success. I've studied all the people that were successful in life, a lot of different, well, not all of them, but many different people. And what I found is the secret to success. You know what it is? There's a secret to success. It's very interesting when I found out what it was. Everyone that's successful knows this secret. It's getting started.